Mashmi's Cassiopeia. Unfortunately, you know, the Nidalee ban as well from Epik Gamer. So we're seeing the pendulum swing a different way. But I think, Mashmi not landing those ults and not getting that farm versus Kog'Maw bot lane, I think, was probably the biggest detriment to the team comp of Epik Gamer last match, because that Cassiopeia ultimate really, when he did land it, turned the tide in all of the team fights.
Yeah, it was, yes. But, obviously Mashmi is a very skilled, he's a very skilled player with AD carries, but,
Yeah.
he didn't have the finesse that we might have expected with Cassiopeia from, a Skara or, a Big Fat LP or, a Salsi. It's a very different kind of champion to play, and I think it was clear that last game that he was a little, he did very well, but a little bit out of his element on some of those zones.
Definitely, and we're going to see probably a more traditional strategy coming out of Epik Gamer now in this match. Westrise having first pick, Cassiopeia being the last ban from CLG. So be that as it may, we don't want to see that. Lee Sin being picked up. Looks like Clacky D is going to get to do some jumping around.
That's right, and Clacky D is going to use his fighting game skills and his incredible inhuman dexterity to jump all around the map. And we've seen it before. We're going to see it again, I assume. Westrise might run him top, I suppose, but I imagine that Claky will run it, given what we've seen of his play in previous games.
St. Vicious and Doublelift now getting to pick. Doublelift picking up the Corki this time, so we're gonna see Doublelift run that for their team. I'm Doublelift and Janna as well. Okay, so Doublelift and Janna, excuse me, Corki and Janna. So we're gonna see Corki Janna bot lane, and Salsi picking up his Vladimir. So two really potent picks, two of the best champions for two of the players on Epik Gamer. Salsi getting to run Vlad, and Clacky D presumably going to run Lee Sin in the jungle.
Yeah, I'm wondering what CLG is going to take to counter Vlad. Vlad is also a problem champ because he could go top lane as well, but I rarely see Salsi playing top lane. The only time I saw Salsi playing top lane was actually last night when he played Epik Gaming played an all Yordle team in Game 2 against DB Gaming last night, and he did run AP Teemo in top lane. So you guys can go check out the VODs on youtube.com/ggChronicle if you do want to see those games. All of the games are there. You can also check out another cast that KDH and I did, which was Dignitas versus Worldwide Wipers, and they trolled pretty hard in those games, including Voyboy playing Lulu top, Cutie Pie playing 80, Rammus with support Ezreal.
Oh, man. Ugh.
So if you guys want to see some funny games, I would go head over there and take a look.
So it looks like Hotshot picking up Warwick and Chouster picking up Anivia.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Warwick's another one of those versatile picks. You see him banned a lot these days at high elo. He is very tanky, very problematic to deal with, and his suppression is really amazing when used properly.
He's very, very strong. He does a lot of damage without being able to be killed.
Yes, that's right. And he is another versatile pick that you can run either top or jungle, so that makes him a bit of an issue in terms of counter picking.
Although I'm not going to say any, but at this point, between Heimerdinger, Vladimir, and Lee Sin, I think their top lane options have been exhausted, and now the only thing they're looking for is an AD carry.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're actually going to pull this Heimer. Now they're not. He's just trolling around. Heimer is very, very godly in lane, and so I suppose with the right team comp, you could kind of fit him in, squeak him in around the edges. It looks like Nat Nguyen is going to be playing Ahri. He'll pick Ahri. I doubt he'll be playing him, but we're going to see what this ends up being. And
an Olaf pick as last from CLG, so I think we're going to see Hotshot. Is Hotshot going to run Olaf?
Yes,
and
Hotshot
Vicious
will run.
Going to jungle Warwick.
Almost certainly. Hotshot's been playing a lot of Olaf recently, and St. Vicious has also been playing some Warwick, so that would not surprise me at all, although it could go either way depending on how they're feeling. But since they last picked Olaf, I think they have a matchup in mind, and I imagine that matchup is versus Vlad.
I think so.
Olaf can put down some pretty serious damage on Vlad, and if he runs Ignite, Ignite is always a problem with Vlad for obvious reasons because it does mitigate his ability to heal himself so much. And Olaf can really punish Vlad with true damage because he can get up in his face real easily with he's a pretty fast champion being melee, so he's naturally a little bit faster than Vlad. And with the undertow, he can do a lot of chasing Vlad around while his transfusion is still on a relatively long cooldown at low levels.
And he's also, you mentioned the 2 damage. Also, the more Vlad hurts Olaf, the more Olaf is able to attack. The faster Olaf is able to attack. And with his lifesteal proc, they both have Ignite in top lane, so the lifesteal is going to be mitigated. But it's just going to be ultimately, I think it'll be a race to see who kills who quicker.
Yeah, and we're going to see that Ghost. Of course, Flash isn't usually the best choice on Olaf because of his ults. It's a lot better to be able to run quickly into team fights generally, so you can get back to their carry while they can't stop you. And that's generally a really good idea on Olaf. And the Flash isn't really necessary because they're not going to be able to CC you anyway. So, and it's on a lower cooldown than Flash, so it's better in terms of utility because you can use it more frequently with Olaf. So I'm a big Olaf fan, and I love to play some Ghost Ignite on him, that's for sure. So I imagine we are going to see them trying to match up Olaf versus Vlad for the reasons that KDH and I have spread before you like a beautiful banquet.
Like a banquet of reasoning.
A banquet of reasoning.
A feast of knowledge.
A feast of knowledge provided to you by KDH.
By us. By us. We are providing. What's for dinner? Knowledge. Nothing like a heaping helping knowing what's going on.
Yep, and I imagine there's going to be a lot more knowledge this game because we're going to see a lot of books. It's going to be a library between the WOTAs, the WOTA library.
Yes, definitely, especially on Epic Gamer between Ari, Vladimir, and even potentially Nunu, depending on what Nat Nguyen decides to do with it. So we're going to see a lot of a different game. Chouster picking up the Clairvoyance, Nat Nguyen opting for an Exhaust in this game, which is probably going to be pretty useful against Corki, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's a great choice. I imagine they're going to be. Well, it's interesting that Mashpee's playing an Ignite Graves. That's, I would have said that they're going to be trying to play a little further back without the flash on Nunu to engage or to get away. But I think with that flash or the Ignite Exhaust between the two champions, we're going to see a really aggressive lane.
That's going to be very aggressive.
It's going to be very aggressive. And the thing about playing aggressive bottom lanes and kill lanes is that it forces the other team to play differently. And because it causes the jungler to have to go bottom more frequently.
Which is awful.
Which is awful. Very bad.
It's awful. As playing a jungler, it's awful, and I'm sure, and obviously for the team dynamic, it's awful as well.
I'd also like to point out that Chouster on Janna has taken Clairvoyance, and that is really a smart idea against a bot lane that is going to be aggressive because it mitigates the ability to gank as effectively.
Yes, indeed it does. If there's ever been an aggressive bot lane, I think Nunu Graves is probably one of the poster children.
Oh yeah, that and Alistar Tristana, pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of aggro down there. And I wonder if we're going to see a lot of lane switching this game. I think Epic probably realizes that they're trying to get Olaf versus Vladimir. I think that's something that they're going to want. And so I wonder if Epic's going to try to lane swap. They're going to try to run Vlad top to try and throw them off, or so Hotshot, thinking Vlad will be mid, would run mid. I'm not entirely certain what the plan is there.
Yeah, we've also seen in terms of lane switching, Olaf is a good champ these days for lane switching because of his vicious strikes and his kind of natural tankiness. So we have seen a lot of teams kind of run the Olaf in a 1v2 situation. I'm not sure if we are going to see lane switching. We'll have to wait and see. I really don't know. I think that once we get into Champ Select and CLG sees those summoners on Nat and Hotshot, that we are, in fact, I think they're going to get scared and try and play a more standard laning phase at the very least. So let me go ahead and switch over to our lovely loading screen. And we are going to see a Broloff coming out of Hotshot.
We're going to see Broloff. We're going to see Bloodlord Vladimir. We're going to see Nunu bot. So and Red Baron Corki. The legendary skins are running rampant throughout this game. And whereas last game, in both games now, CLG has managed to procure skin win. So there's that.
There is that, and I mean the game's awash in legendary skins, awash in legendary players. It is a good day to be Monte Cristo and KDH.
Indeed, it is a legendary day, certainly. We have Big Fat LP sporting his Vancouver Anivia, which is very nice and American looking.
You know what's interesting is on GG Chronicle, I did interviews of both Dan Din and Lauda Mortis, and I was also listening to Salsy's stream last night, and he was also talking about how awesome Vancouver Amumu is. Personally, I don't think Vancouver Amumu is too awesome, but all the pro players, it's like their favorite skin, and it's just a recolor. It's just an Amumu recolor where he has like different colored limbs. I find it so bizarre.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain why everyone likes that skin either.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
So if you guys want to tell us why Vancouver Amumu is so good, you can tweet at us at GG Chronicle. That's for the website. We put all our esports news on there, so you should follow us because you'll get all of the latest League of Legends esports news and articles. GG Chronicle is part of LeagueCraft. We are moving over to our fancy new site at ggc.leaguecraft.com very soon, working out a few bugs, and then we'll get it up and running. So you guys can follow us on Twitter. We try to tweet all the time about the tournament, stuff like that, and we'd love to have you there. And Kyle is over at Danger Hennick.
Yes, at Danger Hennick on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook, Area of Defect on Facebook, Area of Defect Music on YouTube. Go ahead and look for us and check us out.
That's right. You could tell us why Vancouver Amumu is so great because, guys, I just don't get it.
I personally don't even like Amumu really, but that's that's my preference, and I'm not a pro player, so my opinion on the matter doesn't really count for much. And we're gonna see Saint Vicious, Hotshot, and LP moving into Epic's blue buff. As we know, Lee Sin probably won't start there because he doesn't really need it, so Saint Vicious is going to avail himself of it, which is, you know, nice of him.
Well, they were just going to prevent an early blue buff from going on to Westrice here in mid lane, I think. That's
certainly.
That's because otherwise, you know, at 4 minutes, Ari's going to have a blue buff and things are going to turn real ugly for Anivia.
And it looks like Clacky D is going to take Saint Vicious's blue buff. So blue buffs being grabbed from all angles at this point.
That's right, and Hotshot GG yelling chug in top lane, but I don't think he wants to chug any blood up there, so I think Brilloff's getting a little over-enthusiastic.
Yeah, blood is a little disgusting. You shouldn't, chugging is bad. We have Clacky D moving in bot lane. We're going to see a level 3 Lee Sin gank. He's going to tag Double Lift with that, but Double Lift is going to Valk out, and it doesn't look like there's going to be much in the way of kills in that one.
Yeah, props to Chowster for that early ward. You know, it's pretty obvious that Lee Sin is going to be hitting you up for that early gank, so you really do need an earlier ward than you would against other junglers.
And that's just the way that you have to play it, and he knows that.
He does know that. He's totally on top of it. No worries.
I'm wondering now, the roles have been reversed a little bit, and the more mobile team is being sported by Epik Gamer, with Ari and Lee Sin and Graves all being very hop-around-the-mappy type champions. Graves a little less so than the other two, but the mobility roles have been reversed, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Hotshot going back already. I'm not entirely certain why at this point.
Looks like he probably has a little bit of gold. Yeah, he just picked up... Oh, of course, a Null Magic Mantle. So that's why he wanted to get it early to make sure he could stay in lane longer now. You know, he's going to have to go back at some point and pick that up. Makes his life a little easier. Will allow him to be a little more aggressive. And like I said, that window that you really want to hurt Vlad is like between like levels like 3 and 5. And so I think that's what he's going to be aiming for.
Definitely. And Vlad presently at level 3, so we're definitely going to see that.
Yeah, I think he will be moving for some more aggression, although St. Vicious is back at blue and going back to base, and Claky D is up a level on our good buddy Saint right now. So
Claky D going in top. Hotshot knows he's there and he's going to back off. That was some warding being done there by CLG. So Claky D not going to be able to get that gank either.
Yeah, and you saw them drop that ward right after they picked up blue, so they were being very cautious in terms of their lane awareness. And
Claky D coming in mid now, it looks like. He's going to go in on Big Fat LP after stealing St. Vicious Wraiths.
A heavy counter jungler from Claky D, and this is what we've come to expect from him when he plays. Wow, quick combo there. Big Fat LP eats a heart in the face and takes a little bit more damage than I think he would have liked.
Yeah, and then Vicious now coming in, finding his Wraith camp gone, but he does have blue buff, and he's going to see Claky D there, so we're going to see a little bit of a tussle, I think. but nothing too severe.
Nothing too severe indeed. And looks like St. Vicious is just happy to go on his merry way. And the issue with the Warwick pick is he is a slower jungler than Lee Sin, so that counter jungling is going to be very effective. And ggClassic kind of playing this matchup pretty damn right.
Yeah, he is, and we see Vicious now. Ari there, Westrise coming in, ggClassic not hitting the Sonic Wave, so we're not going to see any aggression. But St. Vicious trying out a counter jungle, not going to be able to make that happen quite yet.
And Hotshot, meanwhile, pushed back the turret, farming very carefully. I was talking to Hotshot in another interview that you can find on GG Chronicle, and one of the things he loves to do is to he'll miss some CS just to allow the tower to push back to his own. He's very good at farming under turret, but it makes him so safe. And especially, he was talking to me about playing against Lee Sin early. And Lee Sin was an example he used of one of the junglers that can really do some hard ganks very early on. And he said, it's worth it just sitting back, doing 0 damage to your minion wave to ensure that it pushes in your favor back to your tower, just so you could be safe early game. And that's worth more gold in the long run.
Speaking of Lee Sin, ggClassic going in onto Big Fat LP with Ari's help. There's going to be a bunch of damage going out, but Big Fat LP, Egg still not going down. He is going to have had to pop Flash there, and he's going to have to go back.
Yeah, and a 100 gold difference in this game in Epic's favor right now. So not too much.
No, the game is very even at this point. No first blood, 6.5 minutes in, so we're still rolling in this one.
We are still rolling indeed, and very, very subtle creep score differences between these two lanes. Double Lift looks like he's up the most. I've taken a quick look there, but he's about up 10 CS. I'm sure KDH will fill us in on if anybody has a bigger spread than Double Lift right now.
No, I don't think he does. Double Lift, 53 to 42. We see 46 to 28, almost 20 CS difference in mid. So that's a pretty big deal. St. Vicious right now, 36 to ggClassic's 33, so even with the counter jungling, St. Vicious managing to come out on top of the CS game. We got Vladimir 33, Olaf 42. So all in all, things are mostly moving towards the even matchup here. And we see blue buff being stolen by CLG. There's a heart going down on LP, but we're going to take that blue buff anyway. It's going to go on St. Vicious.
Yeah, and Lee Sin now, ggClassic going ahead and picking up his red, and their blue buff coming up again right now, since ggClassic did get it approximately the same time. So they're just, I imagine, just going to run over there post-haste and pick up that blue buff for Anivia. But we might see a tussle here, as ggClassic knows as well. He's got that timer.
Everyone's going in on it. He's got the timer on it. There's the blue buff. I don't think he knows quite yet.
And now you have to win and mash
me. Other side. And there we have a full-on engagement now. There's the stun going down from LP. Vicious is in the middle of it all. We might see where Vicious is going to have to flash out. Ari is going to come in and grab that. And Mashme is going to pick up first blood. He's going to take Saint out. And Ari, Westrise still doing stuff in the jungle there. But no, we're not going to see any more kills. So that was really well done by Epik being on top of that. Making sure that was something like, that was a really great motion by the entire Epik team. They're just going to get Dragon for free now.
Yeah, and the ugliest thing, besides Dragon, of course, them getting Dragon this early is pretty ugly for CLG. But the other ugly thing is the fact that now, out of that situation, Epik ended up with 2 blue buffs. So, yep. I mean, pretty much everything went wrong for CLG. Everything went right for Epik, and very nice play there from the new look Epik to pick up both buffs, Dragon and First Blood. And
yeah, that was really well done by them.
That put them up in one fell stroke, put them up 2,000 gold.
That's why it's always so dangerous, and when I'm playing, it always makes me nervous when First Blood doesn't happen for a long time. You're just sitting there waiting, because when First Blood finally does happen, it's going to be pretty catastrophic for whoever doesn't get the First Blood.
And, yep. Big Fat LP just getting bullied by this Ari with blue buff in mid lane. And Anivia is one of the more blue-dependent mid laners, so she's going to be hurt especially bad by this. And St. Vicious going for a little bit of jungling in the meantime, while Lee Sin happily ports back to base. He has...
Oh, holy true damage, Batman. Hotshot doing one... If you look at Salcy's health right now, that was 1 reckless swing.
Yeah, well, as we can see, Hotshot does have 4 points in Reckless Swing right now, 1 in Vicious Strikes and 1 in Undertow. So he is going to be pulling, let's see here, 280 true damage every time he hits. And Salcy he has less than 1,000 HP, just leveled, had less than 1,000 HP, about 1,200 total. So, he is going to be doing a big chunk of damage every time.
Vicious now in position to assist Hotshot with a lane gank, so we're going to wait for Salsi to push out a little bit, it looks like, because that Warwick ulti is going to almost certainly ensure Salsi's demise and give either Hotshot or Saint a kill. So we have, but meanwhile by Dragon we have LP getting gone on by Claky D. We're going to see the wall going down, and it looks like LP is going to manage to get out. Then there's that gank we were talking about, and Vlad is ignited under turret. Hotshot's going to pick up that kill, but he's probably going to go down to the combined efforts of the turret and Salsi's ultimate. So arguably not really worth it in that instance.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Olaf dying with his last breath, uttering "not cool," and I just wish that Big Fat LP would have been there to cool things down a little bit for him.
Yes, I wish he would have as well, but there's Westrice taking Wraiths for...
And Claky D, look at his positioning right now. I'm afraid for Big Fat LP, but it looks like Westrice is going to head top to clear out the top turret, and they're not going to go for that gank.
Well, no, and there's the thing, Anivia's egg still being up. You can't turret dive Anivia until later in the game because of that. You're going to take down her egg, but as you have to sit there and kill her twice under turret, her turret will probably take you out.
Yeah, and Claky D looks like he's going to have some fun in Warwick's jungle, but he's going to run.
Yeah, it's only fun if they run,
That's
so
right.
he will be having fun, as Warwick would have you believe. Westrice just hanging out top lane. I'm not really sure what his lifestyle is going on at this point, but Hotshot now rolling down mid lane. We see Salsi there against LP, and it looks like we might have seen that lane switch we were talking about. There's the axe from Hotshot, and we're going to see the true damage go down on Claky D. There's the ignite down on Hotshot as well, but that stun, Salsi picking up the kill there with the Tides of Blood. Well played by Epik there.
Well played, and I have to give you some props, KDH. You were so right. Oh, I missed a kill. Couldn't barely get that kill on Corky down there, but they are going to be chasing Chouster under this turret.
I think diving Ghana.
They're not going to get it. Warwick!
Vicious ulting Mash Me. No, thank you. And we're going to see him come around. He's got that speed boost on. He's chasing Nat and Win through the jungle. That vision is still on him, and Saint's just going to run all the way through. Unfortunately, we have the rest of Epik coming in, so I don't think he's going to want to keep that up.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get it. Anyway, I have to give you props who are smartly anticipated that lane switch, and good move there as Olaf was just getting a little bit out of hand for Salsi's Vlad with that true damage.
And I think that's going to be, ultimately, Ahri is going to be much more difficult for Olaf to deal with than Vladimir, I certainly think.
Ultimately, you know what surprises me is that Hotshot decided to go with the Merc Treads. I thought he was going to build that Null Magic Mantle into a Hex Drinker, which with the Maw of Malmortia is synergizing very well with Olaf's passive. A lot of people have been getting the Maw on Olaf recently.
The item basically has Olaf's name on it.
The Maw of Olaf.
The Maw of Olaf is what it may as well be called.
Yeah, so I guess I'm a little bit surprised at that, especially against the double AP team. I probably would have saved him mid there.
Maybe. I wouldn't count him out for the Maw of Malmortius just yet. I'm sure that will be an eventual spot in his item regiment.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. That I'm wondering what he's going to do with that cloth armor, actually.
Well, who knows? I don't know. Maybe perhaps get a Wriggles? I'm not entirely sure. And unfortunately, St. Vicious and Big Fat LP trying to get the blue buff onto LP, and it unleashed as is wont to do from time to time. Meanwhile, Claky D coming in bot lane. Chouster and Double Lift pushed up onto their turret. That Graves Nunu lane proving to be very aggressive. Graves already having 107 CS, but Double Lift being the farm monster that he is already also at 108 CS. So, pardon me, it seems to be working out decently well, even though they've been pushed up the whole game.
Yeah, and CLGs, they're running the long game here. They want a late game. They do.
Yep.
You've got Corky, you got Anivia, you have Olaf. These are all very strong. A very strong late game champs. So the longer they can play the farm game, I think the happier they're going to be.
Certainly, as tends to be CLG's strategy. But once it hits late game, Olaf is just. I mean, he's unstoppable. He does so much damage, and it's so hard to kill when you have him built in a late game status. And that's not to say that the late game of of Epik is anything to sneeze at either, with Graves and Vladimir and Lee Sin and Ahri. Their late game is pretty decent as well. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, but I mean the Corky late game I think is really what kind of seals it for me.
Sure. Corky late game is ridiculous. I mean, all of. Oh no, Hotshot's gonna go. Almost go. Nope. We have Westrice going in, trying to pick up that kill on Hotshot, who ghosted out. We're gonna see we're gonna see the ward coverage now. Claky D and Salsi both coming in. Hotshot is basically doomed at this point. I think he's running around in the jungle just trying to escape, but he's gonna get picked up eventually by Westrice at the blue buff. So very unfortunate turn of events there for Hotshot, but Epik coming out all the better for it.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned. Hotshot is now 3 of the 5 deaths on his team, and the issue with losing top lane is that top lane snowballs so hard, harder than most other lanes, because it's hard. It takes a little bit longer for the jungler to get up there. From mid, the distance is a couple seconds.
Oh, we have an
longer.
ultimate going down. Claky D in the jungle. We're going to see Anivia in there as well, putting down some damage, and Saint Vicious picking up the kill. Claky D, that counter jungling, no thank you, says Saint Vicious. I'm going to take my own race. And we're going to see Saint picking up his second kill on Warwick there.
Yeah, almost kill on Chosterbot. He had to blow Monsoon in order to get them off the turrets. So this aggressive lane combo doing some work. That Graves is now 2-1. That's going to be tough. Technically he would be. They're dead even in farm. So it looks like Graves is a little bit ahead now.
Double lift now, turning on the Gatling gun, trying to just clear that bottom turret out. Top turret going down, already picking that up. And we see in mid now, LP with his blue buff against Salsi as Vladimir. So it's going a little bit better for LP. His farm score now is 99. Salsi's is 122. And Ari's is 133. Also, Hotshot's farm score is 92. So Hotshot and LP both getting very outfarmed in their lanes. So as unfortunate as it is for them, they're losing the farm and the kill battle.
Yeah, I think things are looking a little bit grim for CLG now. I think the picks from Epik were very smart. The way they've played this, the lane swaps have helped them out. They've done them favors. Well. The aggressive bot lane is really doing work, and it's going to be hard because CLG needed to kind of just farm it up and play a passive early game, and that's kind of where their advantage was lying in terms of getting into the late game where this team comp would excel. I mean, of course, you can't count them out. We're talking about a 4,000 gold difference at 17 minutes, which is, it's pretty bad, but it's definitely not overwhelming or insurmountable.
It's not insurmountable, certainly, and you have double lift bot lane still just barely holding on in the CS battle, so he's going to end up dead even with Mashme now, both of them at 149 CS exactly, but Double Lift being one wave ahead of Mashme. So we're going to see him barely holding on to his CS lead there as LP and Salsi do their dance in middle, and Ari is just farming top.
I'm having real problems understanding Hotshot's build. He has 2 ruby crystals, a Doran's shield, and cloth armor. I don't know if he's going to go for Aegis of the Legion. I don't know. I guess maybe he figures that he's losing his lane pretty badly right now, so he just needs the extra stats. That's my guess is why he has those 2 ruby crystals. He had the money. That's what he had the money for. And in order not to fall too far behind while he's perhaps pointlessly waiting for himself to get enough gold to pick up a giant's belt or something like that, he's gone for the quick hot fix of getting 2 ruby crystals instead.
Sure, I'm not entirely certain what it is that he's building either, but I'm sure we're about to find out.
And it looks like he's just going to be happily farming back right now on his turret. The gold lead has increased to about 5,000, so we are seeing it go up just a little wee bit. And we do see a CV going down
There's
now.
a move towards blue buff, and it looks like Epic's just going to take blue buff from CLG. There's not a whole lot CLG is going to be able to do about that for sure. And all of Epik Gamer right now rotating bot lane. So we might see something. Well, actually, Chauster and Double Lift are not there.
Yeah, they were down to about half HP, so they did have to blue pill, which allowed them. CLG had a good CV from Chauster, so they did know that Epik was going to come in and try and take that, and there's just nothing they could do.
And so the game continues. The beat goes on, as Sonny and Cher said a long time ago. And here, Hotshot just farming up top lane. We have Westrice coming in. He also has blue buff and a needlessly large rod to complement his Hex Tech and Sork Shoes. So he's going to be doing quite a bit of AP damage. Meanwhile, mid lane, Salsi has a needless Sork Shoes and Rhoda. So there's a bunch of damage going in there. LP does not have a single AP item. He only has Sork Shoes, Catalyst, and Tear the Goddess.
I'm very concerned about this Anivia. Very, very concerned. You know, he has had to build these items because he hasn't had any blues.
And there's the bot lane turret as well going down. So CLG now down 2 turrets, and I think has it been 2 dragons at this point? I think it might be
2 dragons.
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually.
At least one dragon.
At least 1 dragon for sure. I think it should be coming up again pretty quickly here. So.
So we're just going to see a lot. I mean, there have only been 8 kills total.
Relatively, I shouldn't say very, but relatively low kill game. And this Mashmi is just kind of bullying this Corki now, showing that he does play a lot meaner AD carry than he does Cassiopeia, that's for sure.
Certainly. Well, and see, we're seeing the reverse issue again from last game where Kog'Maw went early IE, and Corki barely managed to finish a Triforce, I think, by the time it was over. We see the second dragon now. Epik is going to take that as well. You know, Corki in this game has the makings of a Triforce, and Graves already has Zeal and Bloodthirster. Yeah. So a lot more damage there. And Hotshot's going to be able to take out top turret with the help of St. Vicious. Westrice rather would just have his blue buff and let that top turret fall.
Yeah, and that's the same exact trade we saw last game. A little bit of a dive here, but that Anivia wall, that Crystallize is going to prevent them from really doing anything, and they took a lot of damage. I'm wondering if they're going to try and engage now. No, it looks like CLG is not interested.
Flaky D is coming around for Vicious and Hotshot, who are presently trying to deal with Westrice on his turret, and a lot of damage going on. Vicious is going to get that ultimate off. Hotshot's going to come in with the true damage. That's going to do a lot of work. I'm very impressed with that play. That was really well done. Claky D not being able to land that last Q, and they're going to turn right around. Both of them at almost no life left, just going in on Claky D as Lee Sin, but Mashmi is going to come around from the top and just double kill the crap out of both of them with a buckshot. So
they got boxed in there by Epik. You can see Salsa coming around the top. There was no way they could actually live through that, and now it might be a free Baron for Epik. Wow.
The tables have turned as far as the getting of Baron is concerned. We're going to see Epik just basically do this Baron almost uncontested, although it looks like they're going to have to back off because there was just too much damage. They were a little bit too hurt for it. So well played by Chowster and LP stopping the Baron.
Yeah, I think that they were a little bit low and a bit under-leveled and under-itemed. You know, they're not. I don't think they're quite ahead enough yet that they could safely do that Baron. A little bit of a risk factor.
But Salsi just unloading on Big Fat LP with only a couple of, I think it was 2 tides of blood and a transfusion, did that much damage from LP's full life bar. So Vladimir becoming extremely dangerous right now. He has 186 CS and 2 kills. So how much gold does he have in the bank? He has 2,100 gold in the bank right now. So a lot of problems are going to be had. He could just go back and buy Deathcap straight out right now. And I think he might be doing that.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that, actually. We'll see.
Yep, there it is.
Straight out.
Rabadon's death cap straight out. Vladimir now has 375 ability power as well as 2,300 life, so he is a problem.
Yep, I mean, Salsi, what can I say? He's a man after my own heart, you know. I like my martini straight up, and he likes his death cap straight up, so...
Yes, he does. Maybe the two of you should pool your efforts.
Start drinking out of hats.
Oh, man. Well, now we see CLG moving in is to check Dragon, presumably. And we see a ping going down on LP by Claky D. We're going to see St. Vicious walk through that ward. And here is something of an engagement. Nat Nguyen just getting completely taken by St. Vicious and the combined efforts of LP with his Anivia ultimate. So there's a kill for CLG. I'm not entirely certain what Epik wants to do about it. It doesn't look like anything, really. They're just going to back off and let bygones be bygones, as we say. But meanwhile, Hotshot decides he wants to go in on Westrice. That taunt's going to go down, but there's a lot of undertows, a lot of orbs of deceptions, and just a bunch of things being thrown back and forth. Meanwhile, the blue buff was getting contested by Claky D, but LP is going to be able to pick it up anyway, and he's going to have to go to try and counter the push that Epik is about to put out with 3 champions. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to. He's going to take a lot of damage from Vladimir, and we're just going to see another turret of CLGs go down to Epik as they move towards Baron.
Yeah, that's right. And let's look at the Hotshot's build again. You know, he has picked up an Aegis now, so he's matching the Aegis that Lee Sin has. So both Claky building his Lee Sin in a very similar way to the way he built Nautilus last game. You know, going for like 1 gold, 2 gold for 5. Well, Nautilus, I don't believe, had the Wriggles last game, but an early Aegis nonetheless. Pretty standard, I suppose, for a Lee Sin. I guess ever since we saw him kind of doing that, I guess at Hanover was the first time I really noticed that build becoming pretty popular coming out of M5. It's very good, helps your team out a whole lot to get that early Aegis. And we see Hotshot doing the same thing. And if we look here, Hotshot has picked up a Shirelia's Reverie. This is not an item I've ever seen on Olaf before. But again, like his Ghost, it will actually help him to get back really quickly. And that cooldown reduction will help him do more true damage. So I guess he is heading for a straight-up like true damage machine build. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. We see a little bit of the makings of a scuffle here next to Baron, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to want to engage on that.
Yeah, and also I'd like to point out that Hotshot's been getting a lot of wards, and he has been getting items that traditionally supports would get. And I don't know if this is a choice because he did a kind of poorly early game, that he's making like aura item choices in order to add more utility to his team, since he's not going to be able to put out the kind of damage that he would with more items or experience kills. So very interesting. I'm curious, but I think this Olaf build is fun and unique, and does, like I said, get that cooldown reduction from the Shirelias, so it'll allow him to do true damage faster, and also give him that movement speed up when his Ghost is down, so he can get into the team with his ult. So nice.
Right.
I'm curious. I'm really looking forward to seeing a team fight.
I'm worried when it looks like we might be about to as pings go down on Baron. Also, you mentioned that Hotshot's building support items. Ooh, Chalster's going to get tagged by Claky there. She's going to... John is going to ult, although Claky didn't go anywhere. He might have been pushed back into the wall at red there. So we're going to see the makings of a Baron attempt, I think, by Epik Gamer.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder how committed they actually are to this. And, you know, just some pokes going down from Epik. I don't think they really want to do this.
No, I don't think so either. It doesn't look like it's something that everyone's fully committed to. St. Vicious getting tagged by the Charm. You know, Westrice has been really on with those Ahri skill shots today. He's hit most of his skill shots.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Westrice play that Ahri before, but I have to say, he's looking mighty good.
Yeah, he's doing a really great job with that. But again, you know, Graves and Nunu just doing Dragon alone right now.
Yeah, that's going to be another Dragon Epic's favor. That's going to push their lead to nearly 6,000. So they are increasing their lead slowly. You know, it's been about 10 minutes, and that lead has only increased by 1,000 gold. So kind of stagnant here in terms of the old seesaw of power.
Certainly, and you know, CLG definitely down, but certainly not out at this point of the game.
Well, we got just some more pushing going on in mid lane. You know, towers 4 in favor, I should say, of Epik Gamer, and 3 for CLG. So again, a slight advantage. They're going to check Dragon. Unfortunately, see that it is not there. It has been taken once more by Epik.
Yep. And we're seeing a lot of movement. Again, everyone doing the Baron dance. I think Epik is really nervous to do Baron, knowing that St. Vicious is alive and well at this point, seeing as how he has this bad habit of just walking up and smite stealing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'd be nervous after that last game, too. That was an incredible play.
And we're going to see a lot of motion towards Baron, and it looks like we're going to see the actual Baron attempt. We have Claky taking out the ward there, and a bunch of damage going down on Baron. This team should be able to do Baron very quickly, especially with everyone there. And it looks like St. Vicious is going to walk up and attempt his legendary smite steals again, but he's going to get melted by Epik Gamer, and no smite stealing will be happening this game, they say, as LP having a wall off the newly Baroned Epik Gamer. Westrice just dashing in, putting out just all kinds of damage. Chouster goes down, LP has to flash out, a ward goes down so Claky D can jump. Big Fat LP just taking a bunch of damage, he's egged, but that doesn't matter at this point. Claky D annihilating him with the help of Graves, and we're just gonna see Epik do all sorts of terrible things to CLG with that Baron, and this might be game.
Yeah, I mean, it very well might be. Hotshot, unfortunately, not really able to do much in that fight. I mean, really, none of CLG able to do anything in that fight. And as as Saint came in, I could hear Epic Gamer say, fool me once, but they pulled off that Baron immediately after they saw him and just destroyed him instantly to prevent him from pulling any shenanigans again.
Certainly. Well, and this Epic Gamer team has a significantly higher rate of damage than the last comp did. And especially with all the farm that's been going on, every member, well, okay, not Lee Sin, the 3 carries on Epic Gamer all having over 200 CS at this point in the game is just brutal.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what CLG can do to come back at this fight. Now, as I was saying, that gold lead has been pretty stagnant. It now has jumped another 3,000 gold between that Baron, the turrets, the inhibitors don't give you gold, but of course that is going to push their advantage even more in the favor of Epic Gamer. So really nice play out of Epic to come back after that last game where they looked a little bit uncoordinated and confused about how to deal with CLG's ability to split push and distract them constantly with those high mobility champs. And so they came back, banned out some of those problem champs like Udyr and Nidalee, and then formed a team comp that was much more able to burst down the opposition so they wouldn't have to deal with those problems again.
Yeah, and Graves and Vladimir both having Quicksilver sashes now. And as does Ahri. Graves, Vlad, and Ahri all have QSS.
Well, I mean, that's a direct counter to that Warwick ult, and it's going to... Warwick is going to be really hard-pressed without that suppression in order to help his team out and initiate, especially, there's not a ton of hard CC that is besides the Warwick ult, really.
There is the Anivia ball,
the Anivia stun, but that's not why they have the QSS.
No, it certainly isn't.
So yeah, with all their carries having QSS, I really fail to see how CLG is going to be able to prevent Epic Gamer from pretty much just insta-giving them.
Yeah, I'm not certain myself. I don't really know exactly what it is that they're going to be able to do. I think, this coming back to the picks and bans, ClayKD and Salsi showing why Lee Sin and Vladimir are necessary to ban on their team, I think.
Yeah, that the Vlad is, you look at him, he's got 268 farm. I suppose Double Lift has 281. That's quite impressive. I haven't looked down at the farm in a little bit. We're going to see an engagement here. Nope.
Yes, we are, but nothing really to be had as Lee Sin, ClayKD just going in and out of this team fight at will.
Yeah, as we can see, Double Lift has to peel off in order to deal with these massive mob of super minions that has developed around his turret.
There comes Westrice, just barely missing. Hogtop's going to go in. He went in on Mash Me. We're going to see Nat Nguyen ulting. We're also going to see Salsi up top. A whole bunch is going on, and just a bunch of kills going down. We're going to see Olaf, Anivia, and Warwick all bite the dust as Double Lift, as Corky trying to get out of there. He's going to have to flash. Chowster and Double Lift both still standing, but most of their base is not. The super minions are pushing in, and that's going to be GG in this second game, I'm almost certain.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pity, but we are going to go to Game 3, which is quite exciting for us. These have both been excellent games, played